Have you ever wondered how you'll manage if a sudden financial crisis hits your life? Let's take a moment to consider the importance of an emergency fund. This isn't just another savings account, it's your financial safety net, your shield against unexpected expenses that can come in many forms. Maybe it's a medical emergency that insurance doesn't fully cover. Perhaps it's a sudden job loss that leaves you without a steady income. Or it could be urgent home repairs that can't be put off any longer. These are not just hypotheticals. They are realities that many people face without warning. An emergency fund can provide peace of mind during these stressful times. It allows you to tackle these situations head-on, without worrying about where the money will come from. So now that we know why an emergency fund is so important, let's delve into how to start building one. How much should you have in your emergency fund? Well, that's a good question. The size of your emergency fund can vary greatly, as it is largely dependent on your personal situation. A generally accepted rule of thumb, however, is to aim for saving 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. This provides a substantial safety net in the event of an unexpected job loss, medical emergency, or other unforeseen expense. But remember, this is just a guideline. There may be factors in your life that influence this amount. For example, if you have a high level of job security, you might feel comfortable with a smaller emergency fund. On the other hand, if you have a number of dependents or a health condition that could potentially result in large medical bills, a larger emergency fund may be prudent. Once you have figured out your target amount, it's time to start saving. Starting an emergency fund may seem daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With a few simple strategies, you can get started on your path to financial security. First off, let's make this clear. There's no need to wait until you have a large sum of money to start your emergency fund. In fact, it's often more manageable to start small and gradually increase your savings over time. Consider setting aside a small amount from each paycheck. Even if it's just the change from your daily coffee run, it can add up over time. One of the easiest ways to ensure you're consistently adding to your emergency fund is to automate your savings. Many banks offer automatic transfers, which can be set up to move a certain amount from your checking account to your savings account on a regular basis. By automating your savings, you're essentially making it a non-negotiable part of your budget. Another strategy is to reduce unnecessary expenses. This doesn't mean you have to live on ramen noodles and tap water, but taking a hard look at your spending habits can reveal areas where you could cut back. Maybe it's that gym membership you never use, or perhaps you could swap your cable subscription for a more affordable streaming service. The money you save can then be redirected into your emergency fund. For those who want to boost their savings even faster, consider picking up a side hustle. This could be anything from freelance work to selling handmade goods online. The extra income can make a significant difference in how quickly your emergency fund grows. Lastly, remember that building an emergency fund is a marathon, not a sprint. It's okay to start small and gradually increase the amount you save as you get more comfortable with your savings habit. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your emergency fund won't be either. Remember, the key is to start saving and keep going. It's not about how much you save, it's about consistency. Let's quickly recap what we've discussed so far. We've underscored the crucial role of an emergency fund in our financial lives. It's our safety net, our financial buffer that shields us from unexpected expenses and economic uncertainties. We've also talked about how much should be in your emergency fund. Remember, the general rule of thumb is to save 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. However, this amount may vary depending on your personal circumstances and comfort level. Lastly, we've shared some practical tips to kickstart your emergency fund. We've discussed setting realistic savings goals, automating your savings, cutting back on discretionary spending, and making saving a priority. An emergency fund is not built in a day. It takes time and consistency, but with a little planning and discipline, you can create a strong financial safety net. Start today and take control of your financial future.